Call it spring, like everything is new. The sunburst flowers calling on Monday's overdue. But I call like everything.
What's up, guys? Happy Sunday. Thanks for coming back to my channel. This week we're doing something a little bit different. I posted something on my Instagram yesterday about how CrossFit really has changed my relationship with food, my body, and just how I view fitness overall. So today I'm obviously including Max in the video. I want to start off this video by saying we're a bit biased because Max owns a CrossFit gym. And when I started CrossFit though, that wasn't always the case. I wasn't always dating Max when I started CrossFit. So yeah, just kind of wanted to make sure you guys knew that we're not just out here preaching CrossFit with no bias. We really do have a bias. So if there's some sort of fitness that you really love, it's totally fine. But we're gonna go ahead and answer all of the questions you guys asked me on my Instagram, and hopefully this gives you an unfiltered insight to what CrossFit is and what it is not. So yeah, what's CrossFit?
So CrossFit, the basis of our whole entire program is going to be nutrition, right? Which is cool because you're in the right place. So starting with that, and the ability to scale to any level of athlete. So whether you've been working out for one day or 20 years, the way that we can scale and change up workouts day to day will allow you to get the same thing, whether it is your first day and you're 10 years old or it's your 50th year and you're 75 years old.
So somebody asked me that in the question about do I have to be a certain age? What age is too old to do CrossFit? I'm a parent, I don't think I'd ever do CrossFit. And you'll hear it when you tell somebody what you do for work and you say you own a CrossFit gym, usually if they're in the grocery store, we hear it's parent age that they're I could never do that. So it is interesting because when I first walked into a CrossFit gym, I was getting my ass kicked by 65-year-olds, and there's just a whole mix of people in the room. So that's definitely one of my favorite things too, is just the wide variety, I think, of people in a room. And it's cool to see that it doesn't matter what age you are and what your body type is you are able to do CrossFit. It's just so freaking cool. Everyone's doing the same workout, but then they're just modifying different things to help them to be doing the same workout, right?
100%.
So somebody else asked, why are there no machines?
Kind of simple, right? So the base of all of our movements are kind of unweighted, and we're looking to pass through full ranges of motion through a squat, a hinge, a press, a pull, and we want to be able to do it with our own body weight. So something like a pull up, a push up, an air squat, some kind of kettlebell swing or deadlift are our base movements, and we kind of build off of those. Really anything that you'll see in life outside of the gym, whether it's picking something up or it's squatting down to pick up your kids or it's putting something on the top shelf, you're never really doing a bicep curl unless you're drinking something. So that's kind of why there's no machines. We try and make it as simple as that.
I don't know, I just came from a retro globo style gym, and that was the weirdest thing too, is everyone had been talking about CrossFit, and when I first walked in, it was just an empty warehouse with these metal bars and some rings, and it just seemed what are we doing if there's no machines? And there's bikes and rowers, and some gyms have skis, we have ski ergs.
I would say that a lot of machine work doesn't apply greatly to the things that we train here, right? So for example, a leg press machine is not going to get you better at squatting, but a squat will get you better at the leg press machine. So it's kind of about more bang for your buck and what we could actually apply to really anything, right? It's kind of the mastery of the movement that we're trying to accomplish, and everything else you'll just kind of become good at over time. And machines are that, right? They're going to make us look a certain way, but that doesn't make us functional. That doesn't make us fit. It definitely doesn't make us healthy.
Honestly, that was another thing. I just thought I was so fit when I before starting CrossFit, just being in a globo gym and doing machine training and really bicep curling in front of the mirror, and there's no shame in that game when it comes to bodybuilding and aesthetics, but I don't know, when I started, there was a 40-year-old dad that was just like running past me, and I felt so out of shape, but it was just a cool moment. Like, I feel like you could take it two ways too when you start CrossFit. Like, I feel like some people go one way or the other. Like, they see like all different ages, body types, and they're beating them, quote unquote, or like, you know, ahead of them or doing better than them, and they're like, oh, I'm not fit enough to do this, I'm gonna like not ever do this again. Or they see it as, wow, like, I'm just not as fit as I thought I was, I need to, you know, work on my fitness, right? And
Yeah,
what would you say about that?
I think a good point to that is like the ability to scale down, there's also the ability to scale up, right? So as you become more fit inside of the gym, right? This is for somebody who's been here for 5 to 10 years, there's always the ability to make things harder. So you're always going to progress kind of until forever and ever, which really separates the gap between the person walking in for their first day and the person that's been here for 5 years, right? Because 5 years ago, they were the person that had never done something like this. And you just create such adaptation through the things that we do in here. You become so overly fit that you forget what people do outside of our gym. And it really builds a gap, and it's almost like you lose sight of that. And when you walk in, it's kind of crazy to see all these different kinds of people doing such amazing things, like running sub 6 minute miles and doing really awesome things like running 5Ks on the weekends and running sub 21 minute 5Ks, and they just come in here and work out 3-4 hours a week, and that's kind of the beauty of it, right?
I think about those people. When I first started, I just always wondered, like, I don't even think I wondered, like, is there just a point where you just like max out your fitness and that's like as fit as you could be? And then when I started, I realized, like, yes, like it was hard when I first started, and like I was really sore for the first week, but then as I kept coming and I kept showing up, it almost, not that it got easier, like the workouts did not get easier, but I didn't leave feeling like so beat down and sore. I felt just like I was getting fitter, and that was it.
Yeah, because every day doesn't need to be you dying and sore on the ground, and there needs to be some kind of lower intensity days for teaching and learning what proper nutrition is, and your coaches should be taking the time to teach you technique, because if you want to learn new skills and get better and move better and really prevent injury throughout life, you have to take those days, right? So every day can't be you laying on the ground dead, every day can't be you sore the next day, because you come here to work out and be healthy for the next 20, 30, 40 years, not be able to walk or get up your stairs, right? Not saying that those days don't happen, because we do have some really hard days sometimes where you will be sore no matter who you are. But the point of working out in our gym is that it benefits your life positively, right? You're able to go do things with your kids, your grandkids, and for the next 10, 20 years. And you shouldn't really be leaving the gym feeling like death every single day, because especially if you're working out in the first half of the day, you don't want to ruin your whole day because you have a tough workout, right? We want you to keep coming back 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, and be able to actually do that and learn and get everything that you really come here for.
So I do have a question, because when I first was like going to a Globo gym, I could spend like 2 hours at the gym, and I was like usually spending about that time, or I would like go in the morning and do like fasted cardio, and then I would like do some weights, and I'd like end with more cardio, and then later in the day after work or something, I would go back to do more lifting. And so like when I started CrossFit, I remember like I would be like, that's it, but not because it wasn't challenging, but because I was just wondering, like, it was 15 minutes of working out, but we spent a whole hour like here, what? But I think that's also common, that people spend a lot of time at Globo gyms, like lifting and going from machine to machine and resting. Like,
yeah, I think it's more of a lot of time wasted, right? How effective you can be in such a short period of time is really important, right? Classes are always structured for an hour, which is involves a general warm-up, a specific warm-up, usually about 10 to 15 minutes of teaching, sometimes more. And the workout ranges from anywhere from 7 to 20, maybe 30 minutes once a week. But the goal is that we're moving effectively and efficiently, right? The more effective and efficiently we move, the more work we can get done in a shorter period of time, and in turn becoming more fit. And I think a lot of time gets wasted at certain gyms doing long and steady cardio, when you could just give a public speech and your heart would probably get higher than what your heart rate is on one of those machines for an hour. So.
I feel attacked. And I think that's where it gets tough, is this kind of reminds me of like when people ask, like, you know, why does CrossFit cost so much? This kind of ties into the same ordeal, and like we were talking about this before we started recording, but like I just canceled my Globo gym membership. I like forgot that it was even a subscription that I was paying for, and I think that it kind of just reminded me, like, that's what they bank on. Like, they bank on me not showing up or not taking full advantage of it. And it ties right back into, like, a lot of the time when I was there, I was just on my phone or I was like going from machine to machine, hoping that I was doing things correctly and hoping that no one was like watching me if I was doing something incorrectly, or just feeling like, what am I even doing here? And I don't know, it was just like, I really remember even when I had like a plan, I think I followed like Jim Stepani, like bodybuilding. And I remember like just being like, I don't feel like doing this. I'm just gonna go curl some more because I know how to curl and I like curling. And it was hard to admit that I was wasting a lot of time. It's kind of like an ego attack. I just feel like, I don't know. I just realized like when I look back at my gym days, I wish that I had just paid the money, because I'm showing up, and after a long day of working, I don't have to like think. I can just show up and my coach is gonna take me from everything. I mean, just from the time I get there till the time I leave, from warm up to workout to cool down, like I'm being told what to do. And I don't know. Like thinking of workouts doesn't need to take my mental space anymore.
Yeah, I think like we run into a huge issue with like taking classes at like different style gyms where it's just trying to fit everything in the hour and make you work out for the whole time and really have no substance to the class. And there has to be a thought out process to the week, right? The cool part about CrossFit is that every day is so different, and we're trying to touch on so many different realms of fitness with gymnastics and conditioning and weightlifting and mixing all those things together, that through a total week, right, you're gonna get everything you want. And through a total month, if we took a step back and looked, you would have everything there. But I think that people run into the issue of just hopping into classes and thinking that they're getting everything they should, and it costs money. And you really should be getting what you pay for, right? You should be getting taught things that you wouldn't otherwise know. And that's kind of your coaches and trainers' like job, right? That's what you pay them for. And personal training itself is relatively expensive, right? And when we look at class, we think of class as like a group personal training session, because I am going to be able to fix your form and help you every single day that you walk into class. It's my job. Like we said, we have those specific warm-ups for 10, 20, 30 minutes sometimes where we're going over different movements. So it's really just figuring out what you value, right? I know we talked about this, but it's like really analyzing like what you want to be and how you want to look and how you want to feel, and looking at what the people are doing that kind of are living the life that you want, right? A lot of the times we look around in the gyms that we're in and we really aren't happy, and we don't want to kind of be or look like the people that we're surrounded by. And surrounding yourself with like-minded people and constantly getting in with the same group of people every day at class and pushing yourself, you start to lead a healthier and happier life just because you have a group of people surrounding you that are doing it.
Yeah, that was a post that I put on my Instagram today. Basically, like in there I mentioned I would just like look around at the globo gyms that I was in, and like I always felt just like big, and like I'm petite. I'm 4'11". I at that time weighed about like 108 pounds, and I seriously kept thinking, like, I would look at myself like in the mirror after a shower, and I just kept thinking like, I should change this, and I should work on this a little bit more, and like I need to shrink here, and I should probably get down to 100 pounds, and then I would like look the aesthetic that I want to be, and I just need to lose more weight, and that's why I don't have abs, and I just remember like looking around and always feeling that way. And like when I walked into a CrossFit gym, it was like these were the girls like bodies that I admired on Pinterest, and that was like such a like back then kind of thing that I would do. But I had never actually seen like girls with like muscles and strength in real life. I had never seen a girl like with a 6-pack in real life. I had never seen a mom with an 8-pack. Like that stuff was like mind-blowing to me. And when I walked into a CrossFit gym, like I was the thinnest girl in the room, and it was like just, I don't know, that stuff was crazy to me. And not that everyone looks like that. And I think that was just, yeah, like most people definitely don't look like that in the CrossFit gym. But I think the point that we're trying to make was that like people in the CrossFit space were really working towards fitness, to be healthier, to be able to do things like carrying their groceries, to pick up a case of water, to balance better, you know, like what else do you feel like people come here and want at like different ages?
Like a couple like really awesome questions. It's like, what if I don't want to use a barbell or lift heavy? And the cool part, if you get the opportunity, because there's another question on here about finding the right gym. I think both of those things go hand in hand, right? So question one is, what if I don't want to use a heavy barbell? And question two is, how do I find the right gym, right? And it's kind of one and the same, right? The right gym isn't going to make you use a heavy barbell for about a year, right? That's kind of how we work. So it's going to take a lot of time for you to learn the movements. And even after a year, you might not be ready. Because like we said, we are playing the long game here, right? We're trying to get you ready for life for the next 10, 20, 30 years, not PR your lift next week. Most kids and people that we have that come in here that are new to this, right? Because some people just haven't worked out ever. And their first time working out could be when they're 40. And then we have kids, it's their first time working out when they're 13. They're literally stuck with a PVC pipe as their barbell for about 2-3 months. And they'll learn almost all the movements every day in that specific warm-up, which is that middle part of our class. And then as soon as we start the workout, we usually sub out the barbell for a kettlebell or a dumbbell with most of those people, just because we want to get them the good reps in and we want to get them a great workout. But we don't want to ever put them in a situation where they can become injured, right? And I know some gyms feel differently than we do about that stuff. But I think it's just trying out different gyms. That kind of goes back to that second question, which is how do I find the right gym? Most gyms should let you try it out for a couple days, right? Like we said, our program is very varied. Every day is different. And it's really important that you try things out for more than a day. Because you might go to one gym and you might not like that day and you might think, oh, CrossFit's not for me. But every single CrossFit gym is going to be completely different. So just being able to have a perspective on which one you're going to and which one you want to try out. I know there's like 20 gyms in the state of Delaware, and I can guarantee you that almost all of them are completely different, barring a few. And how we do things here as far as barbells go is we always have an option that you do not have to use a barbell in class. You will still take class with everybody else, you'll still warm up, and you'll still learn the barbell movement just like everybody else. But when it's our time to start the workout, you wouldn't use it, right? So we always say it's good to learn new things. It is great to learn how to use a barbell, but it's not something that we make you do in a workout.
You know, it's the same anywhere you go. You can walk into any gym and just like not like the vibe or not really like the people there. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it really helps when you walk in and you feel comfortable and you just like enjoy being there. It should be the best part of your day.
Yeah, 100%. Knowing your gym's why is really important, right? If your gym is trying to make you do things that you don't want to do, right, it's probably not the place for you. And it's really important that you do try it out, like we said, for a couple of days. But the main focus is health, right? Whenever we have new members in here, they're always like, I gotta lose 15 pounds, I'm gonna get to where I wanna be. And my always answer is, well, why don't you just wanna be healthy, right? And if we really strive to be on that healthier side of life, right, most things kind of just fall into place, right? So really asking questions. I think you should ask a million questions to your coach the first day you're there. Be as annoying as possible, and they should be able to answer all of them. And if they can't, right, then that's when you like really rethink where you're doing and where you're going. But giving that a real honest question to yourself about why you're working out, right? Most people on the outside will say they want to look good with their clothes off, right? Or they want to be happy and healthy. But if we all got kind of one-on-one and we sat down, we'd probably get different answers from every single person. Again, finding out your why, finding out your gym's why is probably the next most important.